How has suicide touched your life?
Boy, besides losing Steve, who was a dear friend, I've lost over 50 of my best friends in the wrestling business. Not all of it's been by suicide, but it's been slow suicide, either by steroids or drugs, that type of thing. It's been a pretty horrible experience. My cousin killed himself when he was 15 by hanging, which was a pretty traumatic deal for the whole family, really. They found him in the living room. He'd hung himself. I have a kind of a different outlook than most people do. A lot of people think it's a sin, or, you know, somehow you've went against nature. I personally believe that some people can't cope with the stress that's here, or the energy that's here. They can't quite vibrate in that energetic field for whatever reason. Do I wish Steve was still here? I do. I miss Steve. But I also really think that he kind of knew coming in that there was going to be problems, I think, from day one. You know, the times that he and I had talked and just sat down and really talked about it, I don't think he ever felt comfortable in his skin. So small. I'm not saying I condone suicide. I think each person that comes in has the right to do whatever they feel is right. A lot of people didn't like Dr. Kevorkian. I think we treat our animals better. When our animals are ready to go, we don't think twice about euthanizing them because we don't want them to suffer. But yet we'll let other people lay in bed and suffer for, you know, weeks, sometimes years, until they finally give it up. Humans, all our friends and family and society and all these rules that we've imposed on each other since we were little, that comes out and they say, well, hang in there, you can make it, you know. The body's giving them every symbol of, hey, we want to get out of this thing, you know, it ain't working for us. But, you know, your family, and not begrudging that at all, because, I mean, they love you and they don't want to see you go. Now, suicide is kind of I don't know how society here in America really copes with anything. We're so spoon-fed every little thing that we see on TV, and then the religious right comes into action every time, and we've seen how good they've held up under the hypocrisy scan. Bullshit, off the meter. So
I try real hard not to talk.
That's hard. It's like meter, bullshit meter, just going like this.
No shit.
Larry Craig. Oh,
how do you feel about like if your friend was going to come to you and asked you if you'd go with them, you know, down the road of suicide, would you support them?
Steve basically did. I saw Steve a week before he killed himself, and he told me he was going to do it. And I said, come on, Steve, you know, stay positive, you know, all the things you just tend to say. I never honestly thought, I mean, I knew in the back of my mind he was going to do it, but I didn't think it would happen that quickly and that just so final. It was such a final, I mean, I saw him, and then Monday, I can't remember, it was Chris. Chris came in and said, hey, you know, your buddy Steve, he killed himself this weekend. And man, I just remember I about hit the floor. I was like, holy shit, he did it. You know, because he said, I'm going to do it. I can't stand it anymore. And I said, Steve, come on, you know, pull it together. We were sitting right here in this studio, and we played keyboards, and we were playing the strings and sounds. He loves sounds. He just was ape shit over all the sounds we had here. And, you know, and we'd just sit around, and we never really accomplished anything other than we just sit around and talk. We'd talk and just, you know, play a little music and stuff. And God, I remember when he said it to me, though, I could feel it. It was a little different. You know, it kind of scared me. And I even told my wife when I got home, I said, God, he was talking about killing himself. And, you know, I don't know if he's serious or not. Well, we found out how serious he was. He did it.
How do you feel about my choice to support Steve's choice?
Honestly, I think for Steve, he needed somebody to really understand where he was at. And it takes somebody like yourself that's been in that depth of despair and, you know, to go there. I couldn't go there with him because I don't understand that. I don't have a grasp on what it would take to kill myself. it's not that I can't support him, because I support Steve. To this day, I love him, always will. He was a great friend and a hell of a guy. We had so much fun when we would get together and laugh. But he had a dark side. And I just kind of stayed on the other side of that dark side. I didn't want to go in there with him. But every now and then it would rear its head. But I support you in whatever you do, Terry. You know, I mean, supporting Steve needed somebody, and you were there for him. And I'm glad somebody was there for him. He knew he had support.
Okay. Is there anything else that you'd like to say on suicide?
Just a message to Steve's family. He was a really great guy. Please love him through this, because I know he never meant to hurt any of you or anybody. Steve just wanted out. He didn't fit in his skin.